Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day in which we can explore different understandings, allow us to prepare for the unfolding nature of existence. So as you see, things have become just a little bit more chaotic. And months ago, we would discuss the possibility that with the Brexit and the changes, that we may experience some food shortages in the UK. And it appears that that may be the case with some headlines, if you look at them today in the newspapers. So it's about preparation. All that we share with you is to prepare ourselves to navigate ourselves in the increasing chaos that we are seeing unfolding around us. So the chaos to do with the, I'll reluctantly call it the pandemic. I'm not denying the virus. I am certainly denying what we're being told and how that is being, how the propaganda is being used. Or I'm certainly questioning it. And I don't feel the impact of the lockdowns, the impact of the strategies takes into account the effect that would have and is having on children's mental health. Now we're starting to see the children's mental health becoming the dominant areas of concern. And I feel that so you have this, the impact of those rather draconian measures, which are still continuing and getting even severer, have had and are having on us now. It is starting to unfold. Okay. Then on the other side, we see the shift in the Brexit and European connections, and this is starting to have its impact in our just-in-time system. Then on top of this, we have the shenanigans that took place in the USA, and the instant reaction of incredibly a number of what you'd call fairly major tech, big tech, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, and I'll tell you where Amazon comes in, YT, YouTube, loads of them, all of a sudden decided that they were going to censor an individual. We all know who we and anyone that supported that kind of narrative. And then Amazon decides that it's going to shut the servers for an independent a platform called Parler. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to censor so much? You know, whereas Ayatollah is able to Twitter and probably has a Facebook account, yet thousands of people with millions of followers have been taken off like that. Surely this must make you think. Surely. Censorship is only used in order to hide the truth. That's all it is. And the excuse is always about public speech, free speech, offending someone. But the truth of the matter is that this political correctness has brought society into a position where now, as we said to you a few months ago, there is going to be a distinct division, and it's upon us now. That distinct division is upon us now. There are those who, for the sake of a comfortable life, for the sake of a particular belief system, etc., want to pursue a particular worldview, a particular paradigm. And there are those who can see beyond that. And I'll say beyond that because they were maybe in that place once, but they've kind of seen beyond. And they've seen how political messages are then used through the multi channeled propaganda machine, which we called mainstream media, in order to give a narrative, in order to hold you in a particular pattern, in a particular space. So, if imagine if all the headlines tomorrow began to focus on the support we can offer our children in times of these challenging times and their development formative years, and if everything we just forgot about writing about you know Corona Mona. But we maybe have a little picture that say has numbers on it, but we forget about all the emotive, fear mongering, just propaganda that's out there, and we replace it with what we can do for each other, and all of a sudden we have a solution. We have a solution. So this censorship is only used to hide the truth. That's all. It's never taking out someone's tongue doesn't mean that you stop them to speaking. It means you don't want to be shown to be a liar. You don't want the truth to come out, and that's the same that's going on. But what's wonderful about what has happened over the last week, is this: that the hand has been played. And you see the depth of corruption, collusion, violence, um, just the hate and the anger that's out there, and which player is where. And you have more information about that. You have a greater understanding of that. And this appears to be um, a division between those that are about control, about consumerism, about capitalism, about a particular form of government known as democracy. And I don't see this as as democracy. I see this as a very different version of democracy. Um, or do we want a future in which the pharmaceuticals are not the ones that are directing our health, in which vitamins, in which lifestyle, in which the right foods, in which the right exercises, in which the right kind of work, the work that isn't soul destroying, the work that isn't 9 to 5, and at the end of it you are absolutely have nothing to show for it. There is nothing that is of value, simply about doing a particular function, not necessarily because you want to do it, because you have to do it. So these changes, as they are happening, we are now being made to make a choice. Where do you stand? That's all there is to it. We spoke about this many, many months ago, maybe around June or July, that humanity will have to redefine itself. Redefine itself. What are our real values? And these are not our egocentric values. Oh, I'm so compassionate. No, no. This is what is our value, our intrinsic value. And our intrinsic value comes from who we are, what we are. And that whole approach is, that whole awakening is the divine unfolding plan, right? So there is a macro picture in which if you see it, you see it. If you don't see it, you don't see it. I can't, when you see it, you see it. You don't see it, you don't see it. So there's this macro picture, which then has a smaller picture and a smaller picture and a local picture. So what's happening with you? What's happening with your environment? What's happening with your government? What's happening with your country? What's all of that dominant structure. That has so all of those we can say are individuals making their own decisions and actions. We can say that. May not be the truth, but we can assume that. Then there is a bigger picture, that why is that individual who they are? Why is that individual who they are, where they are, at what time, etc., etc.? Because we don't take our birth by choice, right? We don't take our birth by choice. With this body that you think is yours isn't actually, you have no control over it. You can deform it, you can cut it up, you can do damage to it, but actually you have no real control of which cell will work, how, what it's doing, etc., etc. So this notion that you, me, everyone is this individualized identity that's trying to accumulate something, this is now fallen through. Remember those words we used back in the day? Delusional illusions. Our delusional illusions have shifted, right? It's the shift of our paradigm, it's the shift of our perception. You are still the same. You and I are still the same in our innate human consciousness space. Our consciousness is still our consciousness. However, our worldviews are now being dismantled and they are starting to fall apart. And this dismantling of the worldviews is what causes pain. It's what causes anxiety. It's what causes anger. It's what causes frustration. And it is absolutely critical, you know. Silence is your navigator. Do something for your mental health every day. Do something for your mental health every day. And that could be not just about going for a walk, because even that's starting to become restricted now, with some woman getting arrested because she sat on a bench. So you can see where this is going. Now, unless humanity, you, me, I, begin to question this, and through its questioning, we can actually allow it to transform into something more valuable to the humanity rather than this draconian control center. And then the question arises, who's behind that? Or what's behind that? And I don't think at the moment we're quite ready to understand that. I feel that's what will demonstrate itself over the next few months, I would assume, with the unfolding events. But there are many other changes that are afoot because not just humanity, the whole system is going through a quantum upgrade. It's going through a shift in consciousness. So many things have changed, not because to do with the lockdown, etc., or the elections. It is because this is the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the unfolding of every single moment is unfolding to perfection. The grass grows by itself. The earth revolves by itself. Doesn't need you to interfere in it. Doesn't need me to interfere. The grass grows by itself. The universe expands, contracts, the stars, everything is doing what it needs to do by itself. And once we begin to see this, it gives us a level of understanding through experience and recognition, which comes through our meditation, that we too are in the same process. We too are an unfolding of this present moment. And in the unfolding of this present moment, we too are looked after, just as every single insect that's hibernating right now, just like every single life form is looked after right now, whether it is experiencing life or whether it is experiencing post life. Because existence is a cycle. Existence is a cycle. And it's a continuous wave. It's a song. This is why Guru Nanak describes it as Oankar, Ik Oankar. There is this one that expresses itself through this motion of Oankar. Has a start, has a middle, has an end, infinitum. And this Oankar bounces off each other, creating ever more complex energetic forms, ever more complex. That is the way existence evolves. Humanity, whether it stays here or kills itself, makes no difference. Makes no difference. Everything always finds its own balance. And we are now in that process of being rebalanced. So, as these chaotic moments become more and more apparent, it affects individuals, it affects their moods, their emotional space. And please, be mindful. This adds to the noise. This adds to the collective confusion. So, if we can first notice where we are within ourselves and then make some deliberate choices, to come out of it. Go and watch a nice film. Take your dog out for a walk. Bring yourself out of it, because you can only create the world in which you live in. And if you live in a world, meaning within yourself, in which you're doing things that enhance your lifestyle, enhance yourself. And yes, it may not be able to go to the cinema or a concert, but there are other things that we can do. Then this is the time to do that. This is time to cultivate that amazing um, uh, lifestyle that you've always wanted. And you have the choice to do it. And if we all do this, and the intention is to create a life that is of health, where our health is our wealth. Because the way the medical system is at the moment malfunctioning and being overwhelmed and being privatized, certainly in the UK, and mismanaged. It is creating a chaotic process in which, Ayurvedic or any indigenous community, shamanic, any indigenous community, any community that has wisdom will tell you, in order to diagnose someone, you diagnose the whole person. And when you sit with that person, you feel their electromagnetic, where you feel the person. Let's just call it that. You feel the person. And so much is communicated through through silence, through just being able to see one another face to face, not through a screen, not using the screen as the condom. It's about looking at the individual for who they are and being in that person. And that in itself is a form of diagnosis. And now, with what is going on, where we have really nothing more than just pill prescribers, drug pushers, we have more medicines, but we've never had more illness. We've got, the medical industry has done so well that there is hardly a person left. And back in the day, if I go back to my father's day, my grandfather's day, no, they didn't live off 20 different prescriptions, but they lived like human beings. And they lived to good ages. Yeah. It's not the age that matters. It's how healthy you are. You may live to 100, but if you ain't got your health, it may not be something that's so desired. So health is our most precious priority. And in order to access health, we need to work with the mind. And therefore, as every session that we do, we share some of our understandings. We share some information that we feel may be of value, and we provide practical solutions. Rather than talking about stuff, we want practical solutions. So, if you have children, or if you know anyone with children that are having any kind of mental health concerns, then the Flame last month with Joe, Ash, and forget my friend's name at victim support, Angela, and Sonia and Eduardo and Judith, we all put together this practical solutions page. So you can find it on the flame.co.uk website. It's called Practical Support or Mental Support for Children, and it's got practical solutions for self-harm, for stress, for anxiety, different things, practical things that we can do right now. Be mindful that our states affect everyone else, right? So create a little vibration, a little frequency in which, life is great for you. and life is great for you. And as we are going forward, um, um, hey, Ashling, hey, how are you? She helped a lot, and so we want to make this process of mental health support as something that everyone can access. And I believe some of the schools are sharing it with their parents as well. So excellent, thank you, Ashling. Okay, so meditation. Let us begin. So again, I'm going to remind you that silence is your navigator. So why is silence your navigator? Because in silence is your strength. In silence, we see in prayer, you can consider yourself to be, there is this existence, God, whatever you want to call it, and there is you praying. There's a duality. Silence is a listening. And in silence, we receive. In silence, we recognize what truth is. In silence, we begin to recognize our own strength and the fact that in our silence, we become whole. And in our silence, we join all together. We begin all together. We bring every single drop that goes into the space of silence, creates a frequency, and those frequencies collectively together act like a tornado, act like a field. Let's call it a field that strengthens, and that field begins to contribute to the environment. That when the proverbial, what hit the fan, we did the best we could. Okay, so when you're ready, get yourself into a nice posture. I'm just going to change mine. Close your eyes and close your mouth. Okay. Closing your eyes, closing your mouth. You're going to draw a slow, deep breath in. And you're just going to do a little check-in, right? So here we go with the body first. So we do a little check-in. We begin with our head. And we scan our head all the way down. And just notice, it's quite a quick scan. And we notice what's going on in our body. If there's anything that's dominant, a sensation, a pain, an ache. Now let's have a look at the kind of thoughts we're having. So give your mind the freedom. If it needs to think about something, let it. What does it want to think about? What's so important right now? Okay. And now just a quick opening of the senses. So you begin to notice what's around you. So you begin to listen. So just have a quick listen of what's around you. Okay, on your next breath in, once again coming back to your body. And just sense your body as best as you can. No commentary, just sensing it. And if you want, allow your body to soften a little bit. And this works particularly well as you breathe out. Allowing your body to soften. Bringing your focus now to whatever you're sitting on. And begin to notice how well you held in place. So let's take a moment to just position and locate ourselves. And as you focus on your chair or whatever you're sitting on, you notice that that ground beneath you is the only ground that can hold you in place. And as you take your next breath, you notice that you can only breathe the air that's in front of you. You can't breathe the air that I am breathing, and I can't breathe the air you're breathing. Nor can anyone else. And if you bring your focus to how your body feels, does it feel warm or does it feel cold? That can only be experienced where you are. If you're in a nice warm room, that can't be experienced if you're outside. So the ground that holds you is the only ground that can hold you. The air that you breathe is the only air that you can breathe. And the environment that holds you is the only environment that can hold you. And as you take this moment to breathe in this moment right now, in which the earth supports you, the environment holds you, the breath sustains you, everything else also exists. Trees, rivers, grass, plants, dogs, cats, earthworms, planets, stars, solar systems, everything else in the same space that holds you, in the same moment that holds you, everything else that exists is also in the same moment. Allow yourself to recognize that if you can. And this moment right now is connected to every single moment that ever has been. And this moment now is connected to every single moment that ever will be. For this moment is your eternity. It is a calm, timelessness. Bringing your focus to your body, notice the sensations where your body makes contact with where it's sitting or lying. Become aware of your hips. As you breathe out, allow your awareness to move down your thighs towards your knees. From your knees, move your focus down to your ankles, and then coming to rest on your feet. Notice the soles of your feet if you can. Coming back to the chair or floor, whatever you're sitting on, notice how well you held in place. Embedded. You're embedded in this moment. You can neither go this way nor that way. Totally embedded. As you breathe in, bring your focus to your lower back. Next breath in, you move it to your middle back. Noticing what's going on there. Notice the sensations. Notice that all around, middle back, sides, and the chest, there are movements as the breath comes in and there are movements as the breath goes out. See if you can notice that. Notice that with those movements, there are very subtle sensations. See if you can notice that. Bringing your focus to your shoulders. As you breathe out, bring your focus down to your elbows, down to your wrists. Notice the palms. Notice the fingers. Bringing your focus towards your eyes. Now notice the darkness. And this darkness have awareness of. And that awareness can also be moved to the back of your head. Allow your eyes to relax and soften. Move your focus to your tongue. Allow it to soften. Allow your face to relax. Bringing your focus just beneath your nose. Holding your focus just beneath your nose. Watching your breath moving in, moving out. Stay with your breath. Your objective is simply to hold your focus there with a little bit of effort if needed. And watch the breath moving in and out like a river. If you find that your focus has drifted from your breath, notice where it goes, bring it back to your breath. And you have the capacity, the ability to hold your focus wherever you want. Exercise it. Now we're going to start our meditation first by grounding ourselves. And we're going to use some words. So as you breathe in, simply saying to yourself mentally, I am a mountain. And as you breathe out, simply seeing yourself solid. So this is not imagining it. This is not thinking about it. It's saying the words, but seeing and feeling yourself as a mountain as you breathe in, and feeling the strength of being a mountain as you breathe out. Breathing in, I am a mountain. Breathing out, strong. And as you repeat these words to yourself, you keep listening to them and seeing yourself as a mountain as you breathe in. Seeing and feeling the strength within yourself as you breathe out. Mountain as you breathe in. Feeling that strength as you breathe out. Just for a couple of more minutes. Mountain as you breathe in. Feeling the strength as you breathe out. Seeing yourself as a mountain as you breathe in. Able to weather any storm. As the chaos of the storm takes place, you remain grounded. And this chaos could be our thoughts, this chaos could be emotions, this chaos could be all that's around us. But you remain grounded. Now coming back to your breath, not repeating anything, just watching your breath. Begin to notice the two ends of your breath. The start of your in-breath, the end of your in-breath, the start of your out-breath, the end of your out-breath. Stay with your breath. And now if you can just follow your out-breath all the way till the end, allow it to finish naturally. See if you can pinpoint exactly when the out-breath ends. Allow it to breathe by itself. And you will notice with every out-breath, your body can relax a little bit further. Moving deeper and deeper and deeper. Use the breath as the anchor that sinks you deeper into this moment. Notice how you're breathing now. Notice the speed of your breath. Notice if your breath feels long or if it feels short. Inquiring into your breath, wanting to know more about your breath, curious about your breath. Does your breath feel smooth or does it feel rough? Does your breath feel warm or does it feel cold? And then we begin to listen to our breath. Listening to the in-breath, listening to the out-breath. And on your next breath out, gently opening your awareness to all the sounds around you. Completely let go. Using the sound of this bell to allow your awareness to submerge itself in the silence, following this bell as far as you can. Once again. Notice the silence and the stillness. as best as you can. And in this stillness, there is only you. In this stillness, there is no fear, no hate. In this stillness, there is your strength. Focus on the dominant characteristic or quality of your experience. If it feels calm, focus on the calmness. If it's still, focus on the stillness. When you're ready, gently bringing your focus towards your breath. Sitting with your breath. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. As you breathe out, expanding your awareness so you become aware of your body. Notice how, as the breath comes in, there are subtle changes in the body as the breath goes out. See if you can notice that. Stay with your breath and stay with your body. Notice that you're still on the same place you started. Notice that you have sensations where your body makes contact with whatever you're sitting or lying on. Bring your focus to your thighs, slowly moving from your knees towards your ankles. And then notice your feet. Notice the soles of your feet. Notice that your back is still straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Eyes are closed, mouth is closed. Your face is relaxed. Breathing in, you sense your body. Breathing out, you sense your body. Breathing in, you sense your body. Breathing out, you sense your body. And now, making the intention that when we hear the bell, we're going to use the bell to come back to our breath, drawing a few deep breaths in. And we're going to come out of our session, but bringing some of that peace back with us. So enjoy the silence before the bell, and then use the bell slowly, comfortably, drawing a few deep breaths in before opening your eyes. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. Hope you found that as valuable and as relaxing as I did. Before I go, just a few other things. I want to mention that the mental health support for children that I mentioned earlier on um, has some really useful resources, and the really amazing resources, particularly for children, is the mandala by Jo from Poppy Therapy. She's the child psychologist and or psychotherapist, and has created a wonderful tool that can help the whole family or children or just oneself to bring some of that information out and use the mandala. It's an absolutely brilliant resource. Please make use of it. It's on the mental health support for children on the Flame. Um, so look after yourselves the next week, 10 days, well, maybe a little bit more. Is going to be volatile. We've put out some what we call our frequency calendars and emotional frequencies. So the kind of emotional states that we may experience over the next few months. Please check it out. It's on the Flame website. I bid you a good night. Thank you very much for making my Sunday as useful as I could make it. Thank you very much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru.